In one season, Major Harris has redefined the role of quarterback at West Virginia. Harris's ability to keep plays alive with his scrambling style and cannon arm turned a 1-3 season into a 5-2 finish and a Sun Bowl bid for West Virginia. Maryland can counter with their own talented triggerman and Neil O'Donnell. O'Donnell has the size to see big plays develop and the patience to risk a big hit for something better downfield. His primary target will be split end Vernon Joines, who is the only returning member from last season's receiving squad. O'Donnell and Maryland will have their hands full as they take on 11th-ranked West Virginia at Mountaineer Field in Morgantown. You're looking live at Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia. A cloudy day, and the undefeated Maryland Terrapins, winners over Louisville 2 weeks ago, take on the undefeated West Virginia Mountaineers. They are 2-0 following home wins over Bowling Green and Cal State Fullerton. The weather is cloudy, but we've got 63,500 fans ready to pack it in here. Despite the weather conditions, we have a sold-out stadium for this football game this afternoon. Welcome, everyone. I'm Steve Martin, along with former Princeton and Connecticut coach Bob Cacciola. And Bob, another great American football tilt this afternoon with West Virginia taking on, of course, Maryland. We talked about Major Harris being such a controlling factor for the West Virginia offense. But, you know, when you're a good quarterback, there are a lot of things that go into that equation, and one of those is a very good West Virginia offensive line.
An excellent offensive line, not only experienced but big. And the tackles in Phillips and Smider are fine run blockers as well as pass pro blockers. And inside they have John Stroya, Bob Kovac, and of course Koken at center. They're all experienced. They're big, and that's the test today. Can the Maryland defense, particularly their down linemen and linebackers, handle this offensive line? If they can, it could be a long day for them.
You know, Maryland lost a lot of people because of graduation, especially at the skill positions, but they don't have the cupboard bare because Neil O'Donnell is their quarterback, and he brings a lot to their offense.
He sure does. He's 6'3", over 220 pounds, and he's experienced. He played in enough games last year that today does not mean a new game for him. And he's ready, and he can run, and he can pass. He's got backs to go with him. Neil O'Donnell is a key on offense. If he can function today, they're in the ball game.
We mentioned something about the weather. It's been raining here off and on, the remnants of Hurricane Gilbert flowing through the eastern part of the country. Does the weather conditions themselves favor one team over another?
Doesn't favor one team over another. It just sort of evens things out. And Maryland being the underdog today, it could help them. But really, it can go either way. And I don't believe it's going to affect it too much because I think the field is in pretty darn good shape.
Well, we'll find out. This is a great rivalry between these two border state schools. It isn't a backyard brawl, but it's a nice neighborhood spat, and we'll talk about the significance of Maryland and West Virginia after this from your local stations. You're reminded the concert will be held in the Charleston Civic Center on November 28th. Welcome back to Mountaineer Field. As you can see, this is the 26th time that Maryland and West Virginia have met on the football field. The Terrapins lead the series 13-10 with 2 ties. It got going back in 1919, and these two teams have been meeting continuously since 1980. Maryland, of course, a member of the ACC. West Virginia, a great American independent. But, Bob, recruiting-wise, this is an important game because this is the area in which both of them live as far as the recruiting trails.
It sure does. They recruit their respective states of Maryland and West Virginia very heavily, of course. But they depend on other places like Pennsylvania, and you see the numbers on both squads from the state of Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York. They go against each other not only on the football field, but daily when they go out and recruit. So there's a lot in it, and most of these players know each other.
And, of course, when you take a look at a game like this, and, of course, the winner has an awful lot to take to the table as far as the recruiting effort is concerned. And last year, it looked like West Virginia was going to get the upper hand. It was nearly a year ago when Maryland and West Virginia last met at Byrd Stadium in College Park. The Mountaineers got a boost the first time they laid their hands on the football when sophomore running back Eugene Napoleon grabbed Dan Plocky's opening kick and raced 94 yards for a West Virginia touchdown, with most of the 40,000 fans on hand still settling down in their seats. Disaster struck Maryland the first time that their offense took the field when Dan Henning's pass on the very first play from scrimmage was intercepted by Mountaineer linebacker Robert Pickett, who raced 26 yards for another West Virginia touchdown to make it 14-0. To that point, a good day for Mountaineer headman Don Nealon, but it would change as Maryland dug in and took advantage of 6 Mountaineer turnovers, reeling off 19 unanswered points, finally taking the lead late in the third quarter on Bren Lowry's pass reception. Another Lowry score late in the game gave Maryland a 25-20 win. West Virginia Mountaineers getting set to come out onto the field here at Mountaineer Field. 63,500 fans standing to honor this team, viewed by many as a legitimate top 20, top 10, and at least 2 publications have called them a #1 team in the country. We'll find out. They're looking for a major test here this afternoon. The series is one of streaks over the last 7 years. Maryland winning the last 4, West Virginia the last 3. West Virginia hasn't won here in Morgantown since 1982. The kickoff is coming right up right after this. Welcome back to Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia. It's a hazy, cloudy, kind of foggy day. We've had showers off and on throughout the morning. They are now continuing here, but the crowd, it's rain-soaked at 63,500 is hanging on. Temperature, as you see, 63 degrees. We'll have light rain to continue throughout the afternoon. They're expecting a tapering off a little bit later on, but still, with the relative humidity high and all the rain that we've had, there's going to be some wet conditions. As you look at Joe Krivak in his 2nd season at Maryland, he spent a lot of years as an assistant coach in the system at Maryland. He was there 5 years. He's been an assistant for 18 years in other places. And Don Nealon and his staff approaching the sidelines. Don's had a great career here at West Virginia University. Right now, 60-35-1, the winningest coach in West Virginia University football history. Maryland has won the toss, and they have decided to defer their option to the second half. West Virginia will take the offensive side of the field first, and we'll get our first look at Charlie Bauman to do the kicking honors, of course, for West Virginia University. And we expect Mike Beasley and Bryn Lowry to be back deep, of course, for the University of Maryland. Maryland opening up with a win over Louisville. They're a team, Bob, that is very multiple as far as their offense is concerned. They like to throw to their backs.
They sure do. They like to throw to the backs and let those backs get the football in a position where they can run in the open field, and we'll see a lot of that today.
All right, there's Dan Plocky kicking off for Maryland, and back deep for West Virginia, Darren Fulton. Fulton, an excellent kick returner. Fulton is one of the deep backs. Andra Johnson, the other deep back. And the 63,500 getting set to take in what should be an excellent football game this afternoon. We're glad you're spending some time with us with Great American Independent Football. Dan Plocky getting set to kick off, and we'll be underway on a Saturday afternoon of football. Plocky's kick. This is Fulton at the goal line. Out to the 15, and gets out to about the 25-yard line. Tackle is going to be made by Glenn Page, a linebacker defensively, and this is where West Virginia will set up shop 1st and 10, a 25-yard return. And there is Major Harris. He's the leader of that offensive crew. 2 good running backs. Reggie Rembert, an excellent junior college transfer who's had an impact on this program real early. And that line, as we talked about before, Kevin Koken, Bob Kovac, John Stroya, all of those 5th-year seniors, and most of those guys are starting in their 3rd season. 1st and 10, Harris, 2nd back through. This is going to be Brown. Brown coughs up the football, and it's going to be West Virginia picking it up. Koken recovers. But now they say Maryland picks up the football. They blew it dead when Maryland picked it up originally. Then it squirted loose again. Big turnover in this game. Let's see it.
Here we see it as Brown hits off the left side. He avoids a couple of tackles here, and in his effort to get on to the right side of the field here, he's hit. And as he goes down, he just fumbles the football. Now watch this white shirt coming in from the top of the screen. Never gets it. Strictly Maryland's football. Great field position.
Rick Fleece is the man who picks it up, so we quickly see Maryland offensively with Neil O'Donnell on the West Virginia 19. High backfield. 2nd man through is Beasley. And Beasley gets inside the 15 down to about the 12. Let's take a look at Maryland's offense right now. There's O'Donnell, and Beasley. He's so fast, he's moved Brent Lowry over to the fullback spot.
Very quick and knifes through that line of scrimmage. Got good blocks on the right side. That time from his right guard, John Rugg, and his center, Mark Agent.
And Rich Nelson is also a veteran in there. 2nd down coming up now, and 3 at the 12-yard line. Beasley with a pitch, turning the corner at the 10. He's close for a score. Is he in there? Yes. Touchdown, Maryland.
What a turn of events. Look at Joe Krivak. Got the ball right back, right in the end zone immediately using Beasley, number 1, the sophomore from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Got a great block on the corner. There he is. A sophomore at 5'10", 184 pounds. Great speed, playing from the tailback position. Gets that ball in the end zone. Good offensive blocking as we watch the try for the extra point.
69th straight attempt for Plocky, and he's made them all. He makes that one, and in a game that was much like last year, except the opposite way, Maryland up in front by 7.
Here's a toss to the corner. He's following the block of Lowry, number 32 on the corner. He knocks down the defensive end, and then it's all Beasley into the end zone. The cornerback, Mays, comes up a little bit too far inside. With his speed, he got on the corner. Watch it again. The block made by the fullback, and he just outruns the secondary, the cornerback, and the safety man, Darrell Whitmore, number 11.
So Mike Beasley's 12-yard touchdown run puts Maryland on the board first, following the turnover in 2 plays with 14:04 left to go in the first quarter. There's Don Nealon, and he's got to be a concern, Don Nealon, right now, as his team puts the ball on the floor the first time around.
Amazing the momentum that you get playing at home, big crowd, and you know it's a big game for you. And here they get the football right off the kickoff, and they turn the ball over, and Maryland turns it into a score. So it has to be a letdown for them, and now the pressure goes back on the offense. But the offense for West Virginia is very capable of putting points on the board. They just got to go back and look at this as a no-score game right now.
You saw Darren Fulton. He's deep. Undra Johnson and Eugene Napoleon are underneath him. Here's Plocky's kick, and this is Fulton 10 yards deep. He won't come out. So West Virginia comes out on offense, having only seen 1 play from scrimmage so far, and there's the drive. 2 plays, 19 yards. Took them 40 seconds to do it. They capitalize on the turnover, and Beasley goes in from 12 yards out.
Okay, we're back with Major Harris at quarterback, Craig Taylor the fullback, and Anthony A.B. Brown the tailback. Experience in that backfield as there is up on that offensive line.
Slot right formation, and Major's rolling. And he's going to keep at the 20, down to the 22-yard line, and he's brought down by Kevin Folks.
That's the strong safety, Kevin Folks, the sophomore, coming up as he made the play. And that's the defensive line as you look at it. Walsh, the linebacker, along with Jack Bradford, and the down lineman Brunson, and Powers, an outstanding player, and Rick Fleece, the nose guard.
Inside people, Scott Whittier and Scott Saylor. We'll also see Matt D'Amico, the co-captain. And the defensive backs, they like Smith and Brown. They're the anchors back there. 2nd and 8. Here's the pitch, and it's going to be Brown. Brown open to the 30-yard line, and he's got the first down before he's brought down by Whittier, and he's also brought down by J.B. Brown.
Excellent job here by the left side of the offensive line. Number 68, Rick Phillips, the tackle, pulls to his left and leads on this play. He gets the block on the corner right there, number 47, Walsh, the linebacker, and that gives him a chance to get up inside. He's holding onto that football, and he gets the first down.
And with good reason. There were 6 turnovers last year by West Virginia in their game with Maryland. They'd like to correct that today, but they've already got 1 on the board. First down on the 8-yard gain, and here's Brown again. And the corner is shut off. Carl Edwards, Kevin Folks on the stop.
They're just looking to get the ball to Anthony Brown, get him on the corner. If he stretches it out enough, he's looking to turn it back inside. The first seam he can see. That time, the Maryland defense pursued well and didn't give him a chance to cut back, and he slipped on that turf.
So the loss of 2 brings up 2nd and 13, and possibly an obvious passing situation for Major Harris. He's got a gun on him. Harris so far this season, 13 for 20, 256 yards. Back to throw. Has lots of time. Looking for a man. That was Phillips, and Lamont on the pattern looked like they got mixed up.
Too close to each other. Both Phillips and Lamont came too close to each other here. He has plenty of time. If you give Major Harris this kind of time, he's going to burn you. And what it is a deep sideline cut by the inside receiver Lamont, and Phillips is trying to get upfield. There's the confusion. 2 receivers much too close to each other. Mistake in the pattern, I believe, run by them. So it's an incompletion, and now he's looking at 3rd and long.
Reggie Rembert out. Phillips is in. Grantis Bell in there too. Rolling to the top side. This is Harris. Looking for a man. Open. Phillips overthrew it. Incomplete, and the punting unit comes on.
He was open that time. He needed the catch. He needed Phillips to make the play. The ball was on the outside, but that shows you the ability of Harris to get on the corner with speed. Now he's going to hold that ball. If somebody doesn't come up and force him a little bit, he's going to tuck it in and run with it.
And Lance Carrion is going to come on from New Kensington, Pennsylvania. Brent Lowry is deep. The lone step back for Maryland. They're showing 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Carrion with a 40-yard average. There's the kick. Lowry at the 27 drops it. And it's finally brought down by West Virginia's Ron Weaver, playing on the special teams. Nice play by Weaver. 46-yard punt, -1 on the return. So Maryland will take care of the ball right now, as we'll be back after this word from your local station. Welcome back to Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia. The Maryland Terrapins have surprised West Virginia, the home crowd here, converting a turnover inside the West Virginia 20 into a touchdown. And after a punt, the Terrapins come back with the football once more. 12-11 left to go in the first period, rather. Here's O'Donnell, and the inside handoff to Lowry. Not much there. So there's Lowry on the stop. We asked Joe Krivak about having a week off after playing Louisville 2 weeks ago.
Well, I think if you had your choice, you'd want the week off 4 or 5 games into the season, somewhere around mid-year, but it wasn't. It's like so many things. You look at your schedule, you got to play what's there, and we had an open date our second week of the season, and it's tough because of the fact that you go through preseason, you get your team ready to play, and though we played and made a lot of mistakes against Louisville, I thought we hustled and we played hard, and then all of a sudden, you got to take a week off. So we try to do it as best we could. We try to maintain some intensity. We even did some scrimmaging, and we made it a pretty physical week because we felt we had to do that in order to maintain this continuity, and we're a relatively young team, and we thought that was important as well. And we're going to find out tomorrow come 12 o'clock just how much that week on maybe helped us or hurt us, but there's no way of telling. But if you had your choice, you'd much prefer to have the open date about mid-season.
West Virginia holding their own defensively. 3rd and 10. Here's Beasley. Beasley's loose at the 40. Nobody ahead of him. He'll go all the way to score. Touchdown Maryland. 13-0 on a 74-yard run by Mike Beasley from 3rd and 10. The week off didn't hurt Mike Beasley any.
They catch him here. They're looking at 3rd and 10. They're thinking pass. They come up and run the option into the sideline. Watch this. Here comes O'Donnell down the line, fakes to the fullback, gets the ball on the corner right away to Beasley. Where is the cornerback? He's being blocked, and he is out of the picture, and there's the speed of Mike Beasley. He can fly 4.540, and he's in the end zone for his second score. And this is a big, big play again.
So the extra point is good. Maryland on top by a score of 14-0. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mountaineer Field, and what a strange turn of events. Last year, West Virginia got up by 2 touchdowns in the first 5 minutes of play. This time it's Maryland up 14-0. 2 runs by Mike Beasley. What a day he's had. 94 yards, 96 yards rushing already. That series took only 3 plays and only consumed about 1 minute and 13 seconds as you look at Beasley walking behind the Maryland sideline.
There's Don Nalen, and he now is very concerned. You look at the situation. A year ago, at this time, about the same period in the first period, he was in front by 2 scores. Now he's down by 2, and he's got to be thinking.
Here comes a kick by Plucky. Back in the end zone, Fulton again, and once again, he won't get a chance to return. Let's take another look at that 3rd and 10 play.
It's 3rd and 10. They come out and they run the option. West Virginia thinking pass. There's a little fake to the fullback. O'Donnell kicks the ball out right away to Beasley. Good block downfield by Barry Johnson, the split receiver 21 on the cornerback. And with him on the corner, there's no free safety coming over to help. He's gone. 2 mistakes. The cornerback was blocked, and the safety man never filled from the middle of the field.
Major Harris coming back to the lineup. There's Beasley, just a sophomore.
Had a great spring. That's where he made this ball club. Very fine spring practice. Emerged as a leading tailback.
West Virginia operating out of the eye with Taylor and Brown. This is Harris. Harris looked like a busted play. Gets over the 20 and not much more.
It was a busted play. He was looking to hand the ball to his tailback, Brown, on a sprint draw action. Brown thought it was a pass. Busted play. Now it's time for Major Harris to get this club together.
Here's how they did it. Beasley 74 yards out on a 3rd and 10 play in 3 plays, A minute and 13 following the West Virginia punt. Grandis Bell comes wide to the sideline. Looking at the I formation on 2nd and 9. Handoff goes to the second man through. Lots of running room for Brown. A.B. Anthony Brown, the transfer from Pittsburgh. Out to the 39-yard line, and a nice gain on the play of about 18 yards.
Just a simple inside isolation play. The fullback, this case, Taylor, leads him up, kicks out on the end. The tackle comes around, Stroya, the guard, rather, to block, and he's in the secondary. And we know what he can do if he gets in the open field.
Sidnor and Brown hang on to A.B. Brown. That time it's 1st and 10, West Virginia. Harris hands off. This is Brown again, near midfield. Wholesale yardage off the left side of that offensive line.
They just decided to go right after him. They're just going to block him up front with that experienced line, try to get some first downs, get back in this ball game, get better field position, and they've done it on 2 consecutive plays.
11 yards that time.
We're looking at a very experienced front line for West Virginia. We talked about the tackles, Phillips and Smiter, the guards, Stroya and Kovac, and the center, Koken, all seniors. All have started, all have played. They're big and they're very mobile.
1st and 10 near midfield. Here's a handoff, first man through. That's going to be Taylor. Taylor pulls his way to the 45-yard line. Tackled inside there by Mark Walsh, among others. Rick Fleece, the nose guard, getting up from the pile as well. Let's watch some of that offensive line play.
Watch the number 68. That's Rick Phillips. He's working on defensive tackle. Warren Powers, number 90, the big pass rusher, probably the best down lineman on the Maryland team, and that's a confrontation today.
2nd and 5. Here is Brown once again to the 40, close to another first down. Folks is there. Brown getting the inside game, but not seemingly able to turn the corner on.
Well, I'm sure that Don Nalen said, hey, let's just go after him. We've got to get some first downs. Let's establish our offense and get back in this ball game, and that's what it's come to. Now they've got field position. They want to build a little confidence in themselves and hold on to this football. They're trailing by 2 touchdowns early here in this ball game.
Out of the eye. This is Harris. He'll keep. He's got enough. Harris calls his own number down to the 37-yard line, led by Koken, among others.
That's where he knows where those sticks are. 3rd down, runs the option, decides to keep the football and get the first down, and he's brought this crowd back, and they were quiet. Watch it here. Rides the fullback in, that's Taylor, 20, keeps the ball, gets a good block again on the corner from Phillips and Stroya, the guard, and he's got the first down.
2nd leading rusher he was last year for West Virginia. 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers. First man through, that's Taylor again. Taylor tackled by D'Amico, and he had help.
That's co-captain Mike D'Amico, the senior from Potomac, Maryland, playing in the inside, came up to hit Taylor. They give the ball. They sneak the ball to Taylor, who's a very capable and powerful runner, but they keep the inside honest, and that will eventually open up the possibilities for Major Harris and the tailback Brown getting outside.
2nd and 6 coming. Make it 2nd and 7. Out of the eye. Here's the option. Harris pitches to Brown at the 30. Headed for the corner. He's got the first down inside the 20-yard line at the 17. Kevin Folks is there to run him out.
And you just saw the rest of the play. That's that option. He fakes to the fullback. He freezes the linebacker right there. He fakes to the fullback, and he comes down the line, kicks the ball out. He's got a blocker in front of him, 82 Phillips, and it's big gain. It's got to be.
Also, Keith Wynn on the stops on the block. 17-yard gain for West Virginia, trailing by 2 TDs, but they're inside the Maryland 20. Here's the fullback, Taylor. Taylor over the 15, gets down close to about the 13-yard line. Folks has been in on a lot of tackles along with Chad Sidnor.
Folks is the strong safety, but what they're doing now is they're blocking the nose man. They're blocking Rick Fleece, 96, Koken and Kovac, the guards, and they're getting up on the linebackers. And when that happens, if that nose man cannot play off that block, he puts a lot of pressure on his linebackers, and that's why they're running successfully inside.
And against the dark backdrop of those West Virginia uniforms, you get an idea of how hard it's raining on the field here at Mountaineer Field. 2nd down and 5. Ball at the 12-yard line. Handoff, 2nd man through. That's going to be Brown once again, and he gets down to the 10-yard line. Picked up there by Chad Sidnor.
And D'Amico, the linebacker, came right up and made the play. He was trying to break that off tackle. But D'Amico, the senior, the co-captain, very aggressive, tough football player, made the hit, kept it to a short gain, 3rd and 3.
This is the 11th play of this march coming up that started at the West Virginia 20. 3rd down. Maryland up by 2 scores. First man through, that's Taylor. Drops the football. Maryland recovers at the 5. Picking up the ball is Irvin Smith. He stops the West Virginia drive inside the 10-yard line. The 2nd turnover of the day for West Virginia.
It looked like he had a touchdown. He just dropped the ball on the ground. Watch this block. Watch the center, Koken, working on the nose man. Fleece, there's the block. He turns him. It's wide open. He gets hit right there, and coming across from the right side was Saylor, the linebacker. The ball is there. Maryland, very opportunistic, gets the football here and averts a score.
So they start from their own 5. They won't mind. 1st and 10, Maryland. Close operating room. Beasley again, hit behind the line of scrimmage. Pickett leading the charge, and Willie Edwards comes up from the strong corner to finish him off.
It's a great opportunity now for the West Virginia defense. They've got Maryland deep in their territory. They can play recklessly. They're not going to throw the ball here right away. That time they ran a little counter play, trying to get their tailback Beasley on the corner. But Willie Edwards, a very experienced player, came up to make the hit, threw him for a loss. Maryland's now looking at a 2nd and long.
6:06 left in the 1st quarter. Maryland 14, West Virginia nothing. Here's O'Donnell. Lowry has the ball. Nothing doing.
They're swarming now, and they should be.
Ronaldo Turnbull making the tackle, helping out, one of many. He's from St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands.
Turnbull is a big one. He's 6'5", 234, a senior. Leads this team. He's tied with a young freshman named Grant with 14 tackles, but he is a big obstacle playing at outside linebacker position.
Taking the place of injured Dale Jackson, an outside linebacker today. 3rd down coming up. O'Donnell plays it safe and goes to Lowry. Lowry cuts it up over the 5 to about the 8-yard line. Turnbull in on the tackle, as well as Fox.
Okay, here's a great opportunity for West Virginia to get field position. The punter's going to be in the end zone kicking this football, or very near to it. They got a chance to get this ball back, get in close. They got to get a score soon.
Grantis Bell back to receive the kick. To kick, it's Dan DeArmas from Miami. 4 punts, 35-yard average. Here comes the kick. Bell at the 45. Cutting back. Not much room. He down at the 42-yard line. Not bad field position for the Mountaineers. A 36-yard punt and a 3-yard return. 4:49 left to go in the 1st period of play. It's Maryland 14, West Virginia nothing. We'll be back after this word from your local stations. Maryland leading West Virginia 14-0. We've got 4:49 remaining in our 1st period of play. 2 turnovers have been key for Maryland, and they cashed in on 2 of them, on 1 of them actually, turning one into a touchdown. The other, they stopped the West Virginia drive deep as Joe Krivak looks on with the Mountaineers in his own territory. Here's Andre Johnson, first carry of the day inside the 30-yard line. It's going to be a gain of about 12 yards.
Andre Johnson, the senior, the other tailback from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, number 34, running off the left side behind Phillips and Stroya, the left guard, and look at Kovac pulling around, leading him up on the linebacker. Kovac, number 55. That's a lot of size, and that is a big hole. And look at the yardage. 1st down inside the 30.
12 yards on the play. West Virginia, 1st and 10. Here's the fullback this time around. And that is Johnson, the tailback Johnson once again inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line.
That time he's looking to run over the right guard. He broke it back over the left guard because the linebackers for Maryland are so conscious now of flowing to the first fake. And because of that, he cut it back and got yardage. Picked up good yardage inside now. They're moving the football on the ground, particularly from tackle to tackle.
Glenn Page picking up the tackle now for Maryland. 2nd down and 5. Harris hands to the fullback. That's Aaron Evans inside the 10, down to the 5. He drags people to the 4-yard line. J.B. Brown and Kevin Folks travel with him down there, but a big gain of 20 yards.
Maryland cannot hold up. Look at inside. Watch the block by the center, Koken. He just turns the nose guard. They turn the tackle down. They block the linebacker, and you've got a bull like Evans at 5'10", 229, rambling in the open field.
Averaging 5.2 a carry. He's from Richmond, Virginia, and he's a redshirt sophomore. West Virginia knocking on the door. First and goal inside the 5. In motion, Rembert. Here's Johnson. Touchdown. It didn't take long for West Virginia to convert excellent field position from the 42 of Maryland into a touchdown. Andra Johnson carries it in from the 4-yard line.
We talked about it early, that the offensive line was the key because they're experienced and their size is a factor, their speed, and they really came home. Here in this drive and the one before when they fumbled, as we watch the extra point, and it's good, they're back in the ball game.
Charlie Bauman kicks the field goal, the point after touchdown. Let's take a look at it again.
But watch this line come off the ball, just turn people down. Fullback leads up, and Johnson, Andra Johnson, the senior, and he can break tackles, and he shows it here. But watch the surge, and watch 55 coming around to seal the block. That's Kovac. He blocks the linebacker. Everybody's up on somebody. With a back like that from ground level, you can see it even more. There's a lot of white jerseys on the ground. You got to score.
Oh, you got to in that instance. The tight end Adrian Moss goes in there with him as well. And so Andra Johnson scores. That's his 4th touchdown thus far this season. And it is his 8th of his career at West Virginia. He gained 593 yards a year ago and had a pretty good average to boot at 5.2.
Coming into this game, Maryland said they were going to get the quarterback. They were really going to play him tough with the run. Their cornerbacks, their deep backs were going to come up and support. Well, the first few series, when the quarterback, in this case Major Harris, ran the ball outside, they played him pretty tough. But what West Virginia's done is they've gone back inside and they found the weakness, and Maryland's going to have to shore up the inside with their linebackers and tackles if they're going to stop that running game, particularly of the fullback and the tailback.
Well, obviously West Virginia has more weapons than just Major Harris, but he makes all of them actually play a lot better. They've got a stable of 4 backs, actually 5 backs if you count Napoleon.
That's exactly right. They get very conscious of Harris and what he's doing. Forget about the rest of those guys, and they can run.
All right. Charlie Bauman getting set to kick off. Deep back. It's going to be Beasley and Lowry. Here's Bauman's kick. At the 8. This is Lowry. Cuts up field and is hit and brought down at the 27-yard line. So at the 27, that's where Maryland will set up shop. Taking the tackle is Charlie Fedorko, who really distinguishes himself on special team coverage. There's Lowry after his 20-yard return as he picked up the kickoff from the 7-yard line. The scoring drive, 4 plays, 41 yards. Johnson capping it from 4 yards out. And it didn't take West Virginia long to get things going once they got the ball in good field position. 2 wideouts for Maryland. Here comes O'Donnell, first time to the air. O'Donnell's ball is tipped, incomplete. Let's take a look at that again as we see West Virginia putting on all kinds of pressure. Mike Fox and Chris Parker.
That time they come out on a first down play and they go play action. Good call. They've been running the football. Little fake to the tailback. He's looking to go back to his right side, but up in his face, right there, is number 61, the defensive tackle Mike Fox of West Virginia. And he bats the ball away, and they're looking at 2nd and 10.
Fox, a reserve last year, getting lots of playing time this year. We've got a whistle right as they come to the line of scrimmage. It's our first penalty of the football game this afternoon. Let's see who it's on.
It's probably going to go against Maryland. It's probably too much time.
It appears that way. It is illegal procedure.
Dead ball, illegal procedure on the offense. 2nd down.
Okay, they've got to keep it together now as Krivak is talking to the official, wants to know an explanation of that.
West Virginia fans back in the ball game now. The momentum seems to have swung back in the opposite direction. Joins to the bottom of your screen, just passed out of the picture there. That is Johnson in motion to the top.
Oh, boy.
O'Donnell with a big rush on Pickett. Floors him for a sack.
There's number 45, Robert Pickett, the senior from Miami, Florida, and he loves to come on the corner, the right side of the screen, unblocked, comes clean. Nobody to pick him up. O'Donnell never had a chance. In this situation, the defense can't afford to gamble. They just put a lot of pressure on him.
And, of course, now, as you look at Pickett, the senior and a leader, he Moved inside and outside, and loss of none brings up a 3rd and 24. Obvious passing situation here for the Terrapins, and that's what you want your defense to do. Dictate, and they are dictating right now. There you see the 3rd down conversions. Maryland needs 25 to pay off. Screen pass. It is complete, and it's going to be to Spinelli, Dennis Spinelli. But it's way short of the 1st down, and Chris Herring makes a nice stop.
That was a real quick screen. It was well executed, and Herring coming inside out. Watch number 49 come into the screen here. He's flowing to the football. He makes a great play from his linebacker position. If he doesn't make that hit, they get a 1st down. So the defense is coming alive, as is the offense for West Virginia.
Dan DeArmas to kick for Maryland. Rushes on. He got it. Grannis Bell at his 34 calls for the fair catch. We talked to Coach Joe Krivak, 2nd-year coach of the Maryland Terrapins, about the key to beating the West Virginia Mountaineers here this afternoon.
Well, I think, you know, when you play a team as sound as they are on both sides of the ball and with the kicking game, we've got to be very sound ourselves. I don't think we can give anything cheap away. I think our special teams have got to play like the Dickens. We've got to be good on offense and defense. We certainly can't keep our defense on the field just, you know, for any prolonged period of time. So I think offensively, we've got to be able to move the ball. We've got to be able to put points on the board, and I think we've got to be able to keep our defense off the field and not give them any real easy plays. And I think, to me, that's not only the key to this football game, but to any football game.
Well, his defense has been on the field a lot of late because West Virginia's moving the football on the ground. You know, it's interesting. Joe Krivak started his coaching career in Weirton, West Virginia, in high school, and moved on to the college ranks from there.
I wonder if he feels like this is home today.
I don't think so with the noise and the crowd, but he's ahead still. He's just got to hang in on defense a little better. After
Major Harris's 4-yard gain, it's 2nd and 6, and this is Andre Johnson again over the 45. He's got a 1st down.
That was just a missed tackle. The linebacker, Scott Whittier, came up. He had a shot at him right on the line of scrimmage, and he missed it. And that gave Johnson a chance to break through and make yardage.
So it's a 1st down. It's a gain of about 7 on the play. Brings him out to the 46-yard line. Mark Walsh on the tackle for Maryland. Maryland leading 14-7 with 1:43 left to go in the 1st period of play. West Virginia dominating the first down statistics. Here's Johnson. Over midfield again. We talked to Coach Don Nealon about some of the keys for his Mountaineers in winning this football game today.
Well, I think we have to change up our coverages, number one, on those folks. And for us, we just have to play good football and not drop the ball. Heavens, last year we had 6 turnovers against them, and they beat us by, I think, 4 points with 6 turnovers. You can't beat anybody with 6 turnovers.
West Virginia's already had 2 turnovers today. One has haunted them, directly turned into a touchdown by Maryland. It's 2nd and short. Here's the reverse, and this is Rembert. Rembert has the 1st down and more. Folks and Sidnor on the tackle along with Irvin Smith.
A great block by the tight end, Keith Wynn, number 81, who made it possible for Reggie Rembert, the split receiver, the junior college transfer out of Kansas. Watch this flip back here. Here he comes. As he comes around, watch the block by 81 right there. That makes it possible. He's on the corner with good yardage. Rembert is 6'6", 200 pounds. 200-pound receiver from Florida.
At the Maryland 34. There's the West Virginia offense. They put some yardage on the board. Here's a handoff. This is Aaron Evans. This time the going is a little rougher, down to about the 32-yard line. Walsh helps out on the tackle along with Smith, and making the brunt of the blow there is Warren Powers.
They've got to do the job. Powers and Brunson at the tackle positions, and the outside linebackers have to stay at home. They can't afford to go with a fake because this team is too big, too experienced for them, particularly inside.
Yeah, we talk about
a lot of pressure on that defense right there. Looking at those guys, the down linemen and the linebackers for Maryland. That's where the pressure is right now.
2nd down and 7. Ball at the 32. Harris on the option, pitches at the last moment to Johnson. 1st down. Inside the 23 to the 22-yard line, Smith and Kevin Folks in on the tackle, and that ends the 1st period of play. The Maryland Terrapins lead West Virginia by a score of 14-7, but the Mountaineers are moving. 2nd quarter action after this word from your local station. Maryland leading West Virginia 14-7, and here's a play that ended the 1st quarter.
Great option, little counter option. He comes down the line, he waits long enough, and he puts it on the corner. for Andra Johnson as he gets on the corner. Notice the block downfield by Reggie Rembert, and that made it possible. He blocked the cornerback. He's got to get up and support on that pitch.
1st and 10, West Virginia at the Maryland 23. Handoff, second man, Andra Johnson. Inside the 20 down to about the 18. Ball looked like it was going to pop loose. Jack Bradford in on the initial stop. Also helping out for Maryland, number 96, Rick Fleece.
Inside, running behind Koch in the center, the senior from Youngstown, Ohio, 2-year starter. He's the leader in the offensive line, co-captain, 6'2", 263.
A lot of Maryland statistics come off Mike Beasley's 74-yard run. 2nd down and 6. Johnson again slips and falls and just gets back to the line of scrimmage, if that.
Andra Johnson played a lot of football here in his career. He's a power runner. He breaks tackles. He's 10th in career rushing in this school. So it shows you how long he's been here and how well he's played. But yet A.B. Brown has been starting. So this is a great opportunity to have 2 tailbacks, to bring those 2 guys in the game. Gives you a lot. Gives your offense a lot. You can rest them. Know that you really don't change in quality or talent when you substitute.
And add Napoleon to that, and you go 3 deep in that position. 3rd down coming up. Here is Harris going to the air for win. Does he have it? Touchdown if he does. Yes!
There he is, Keith Wynn, a senior out of Dayton, Ohio, 2-year starter. He was a wide receiver. He stole the ball out of the cornerback, Irvin Smith's hands. Smith was in position. He went up. He had the ball. It looked like an interception in the end zone, but 81, Keith Wynn just took it away from him.
Charlie Bauman to kick. It's up and it's good. Now we've got a tie ball game. Joe Krivak still not happy. Let's take a look at it again.
Here it is, little fake counter action. He comes out. The tight end 81 is running in a corner of the end zone. There's the football. Watch Smith go up for it. Number 7. He's got it. And watch what happens. He took it away. Great effort.
Keith Wynn's 2nd touchdown of the season, and West Virginia's even the score with 13:46 left to go in the first half. You stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia. Well, we've had an interesting first quarter and first half so far. West Virginia spotted Maryland 2 touchdowns, and now the Mountaineers roar back for 2 of their own on 2 good, strong marches. A 20-yard touchdown pass to Keith Wynn. Here comes the kick. Lowry at the 7. At the 20, and falls ahead to about the 25-yard line. There to make the stop for the Mountaineers, number 53, Ted Kester.
Very important here now for Neil O'Donnell to put an offense together a little bit, make some first downs, get some better field position, give a little more confidence to his offense, and also give a little rest to his defense.
There's the scoring drive, 9 plays, nice march, 3:31 to do it, and a 20-yard TD reception, the 2nd for Keith Wynn. 1st and 10, Maryland. That's Johnson in motion. 2nd back through. That's going to be the fullback. Lowry tries to leap into what apparently was a hole, but it slows down very quickly. That is not Lowry. That's going to be Johnson. Ricky Johnson from Liberal, Kansas.
Ricky Johnson's the 2nd team tailback, and he just follows his fullback. They're going to go up inside, get some yardage, try to get some first downs.
Look at that.
And look at that time of possession. That tells you why you want to make some first downs and keep your defense off the field.
Dennis Spinelli in at fullback as Maryland goes to the split set. Now they go back to the I on 2nd and 7. Play action. O'Donnell back to throw. Fires. Incomplete and nearly intercepted.
They're bringing the outside linebackers every time, and that puts pressure on the quarterback. That time O'Donnell tried to give a little fake action, counter action, come out and look for his tight end, but he never had a chance because he was rushed immediately by Ronaldo Turnbull. There's an injury on the field for West Virginia. The free safety Darrell Whitmore, the sophomore from Front Royal, Virginia, is down on the field.
Boy, it looks like the ball came in there at such an angle, and he was down there. It looked like it went right up and took the wind out of him, out of his stomach.
Could have happened, but he threw the ball behind. But the reason he threw behind was because he's got pressure right there from Turnbull, 87. And the ball is intended, as you see Whitmore go down for the football.
Didn't look like he got hit by the ball. Maybe his elbow got pinned up underneath his chest. Somewhere in that area.
In any case, Neil O'Donnell is now looking at 3rd down and long again. It's 3rd and 7. The ball's sitting on his own 29-yard line. He's got to try and get a 1st down. He's got to keep the drive alive and get better field position for his football team.
Whitmore appears to be recovering. Don't forget, at halftime, Genesee Cream Ale will bring you our Great American Champions feature. And I think you'll find our feature topic today is going to be quite timely. Talk about the West Virginia offensive line. As you see, Whitmore, the redshirt freshman from Front Royal, Virginia, he's a leader back there defensively, even though he's very young.
He had a great spring. He was Rookie of the Year in 1987, according to everybody here as a freshman. He could play wide receiver. He's a very talented athlete, and to step into this experienced football team as a sophomore and be the free safety tells you they got a lot of confidence in him.
And he goes off to the sideline. Bob Shaw, the defensive coordinator, talked to me about him earlier this week. He said he's got a high level of maturity. He covered for a defensive back in the secondary on a play in which he missed. And then he gave that defensive back, who was an upperclassman, a pretty good talking to. Zippy Shearer's in his place. Maryland faced with a 3rd and 7. Score tied at 14. Here's O'Donnell back to throw. Has some time, looking over the middle. It is complete. And it is going to be complete to Joins. Vernon Joins taking the reception, and he's going to have enough for the 1st down.
That time they came with just 4 down people, West Virginia, giving O'Donnell time. His offensive line protected for him and gave his receivers a chance. Joins comes underneath the deep backs here, behind the linebacker to make the catch, a clutch catch, enough for a 1st down, keeps things going.
8-yard gain on the play for the 1st down. Out of the I formation. O'Donnell gives to the fullback. That's going to be Ricky Johnson. He's up at the 40. Ball looks loose, and West Virginia's got it. Coming away is Jim Gray. Back up nose guard. 3rd turnover of the game. Let's see it again.
Just a little off-tackle play here. He gives the ball back to the tailback, Ricky Johnson. And he gets hit right there. And watch the left arm of number 94, Charlie Parker, come over to create the fumble.
Got away from Hoffman on the block, and West Virginia has the ball back now at the 39 of Maryland. 1st and 10. Here's Harris, and here's Andra Johnson, the tailback, going inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line. Driven out of bounds there by Walsh.
Good job on the corner by J.B. Brown, the senior cornerback who came up, a 3-year starter. Powers, the defensive tackle, number 90, down on the bottom of the screen, being blocked by Phillips. As you see, he tries to play the block off. He does a pretty good job in stretching the play out and giving his cornerback for J.B. Brown a chance to come up and make the hit.
Pick up on the play of 3, brings up 2nd and 7. Ball at the 36 of Maryland. That's Grantis Bell in motion. Pitch, Harris to Johnson. Maryland strings it out, and they make the play. Kevin Folks sends Johnson back for a loss at the 41.
And this is what they got to do. They've changed up from sitting back and reacting. They're coming up and playing aggressively. That time they brought the strong safety, Folks, number 2, right up on the line of scrimmage, and he forced the play. He was in perfect position. He was up and under Johnson's face. He never had a chance to get on the corner. They've got to take some chances on defense because they can't sit back and work against this mature and very experienced offense, really, of West Virginia.
Score tied at 14. Mountaineers looking at a 3rd and 12. Here's Harris looking for a man. He's open, and it goes to a backup tight end. That time it's going to be complete to Darrell Mitchell. Mitchell inside the 30-yard line.
Watch this play as he sprints here to his left side, gives a little fake to his tailback. He pulls up, and 80. Mitchell gets in the seam inside, wide open. Tackle finally made by D'Amico, the linebacker, coming from inside out.
13-yard gain for Major Harris, who's hit his last 2 passes, both to the tight end. At the 28, fullback gets the call. This is Evans. Hurdles over people to about the 24-yard line as he tried to follow the block of Brian Smiter. Saylor on the tackle for Maryland. Let's take a look at what's happening around the country in college football. Virginia leading Georgia Tech. That game at Charlottesville, 7-0.
There's a big one. Michigan State coming off a tough loss to Rutgers last week. leading Notre Dame in the first quarter 3-0.
Second down, looking at West Virginia, and 6 to go. Harris fakes one pitch, then goes to under Johnson, and Johnson gets taken down by Sidnor, among others, inside the 25 to the 22.
Again, J.B. Brown, the cornerback, came up quick, made the hit. Johnson fumbled the ball. It bounced on the turf right back into his arms. But there's J.B. Brown, the 3-year starter from Fort Washington, Maryland. Watch him come up to the left of the screen and make the hit on the corner. There's Undra, and there's Johnson making the hit. Fortunately, the ball came right back to him.
Third down, score tied at 14, 10.5 left to go in the first half. Here's Harris. He'll call his own number, but a great open field tackle by Mike Saylor. Saylor, making the stop.
Saylor came up, as did D'Amico, and that middle linebacker core. That time he was running the option that has been very effective for him throughout his career. He elected to keep the ball and get the first down. Great play by the inside linebackers to force West Virginia into a field goal attempt.
Charlie Bauman to do the honors. He's 3 for 3 this season. 39-yard attempt. His longest thus far has been 47. There's the kick. It looks like it's got legs. It's good. Out of the hold of Chuck Levinas, Charlie Bauman hits his 4th field goal of the year and gives West Virginia their first lead of the ball game. The Mountaineers 17, Maryland 14. Back after this from your local station. There you see what Charlie Bauman's field goal has done to our score this afternoon. The Mountaineers of West Virginia have scored 17 unanswered points, as the Mountaineer himself likes what he saw. The 18-yard drive, 7 plays, took 2 minutes and 42 seconds off the clock. Bauman from 39 yards out.
Coming into this ball game, Don Nalen said, well, now we finally will have a test. We've played 2 teams, and opening up with Bowling Green. Last week, Cal State Fullerton. That really was, as he referred to it, almost a scrimmage for him. Now they're playing. This is the real test. And the real test for West Virginia was their ability to come back. 17 unanswered points, and they look very impressive at this time.
Bauman's kick. Beasley's got it at the 7. To the 20. Open up the middle to about the 35, 30, well, it's the 32-yard line. And in on the stop for West Virginia. On the stop, Zippy Shearer made a stop as well. And Darren Fulton in on the tackle. Terrapins 1st and 10 now at their own 32-yard line. Trailing for the first time in this ball game by a field goal. Out of the eye. O'Donnell with a play fake. Looking upstairs. Once joins. It's intercepted by Alvoid Mays. Mays picks it off, and we've got 4 turnovers in the ball game so far.
All this is play action off a first down. He's looking to get him coming up and eating on the fake on the corner. Mays does not do it. He's trying to hit Joins on a fly pattern out here. He underthrows the football, and Mays, to his credit, finds the ball and makes the interception. And again, West Virginia's got the ball back in very good field position.
Junior college transfer out of Bradenton, Florida. 1st and 10, Mountaineers. They're on 46. Fullback gets the call, or rather the tailback, A.B. Brown, Anthony Brown, the tailback out of Pittsburgh. Nice block on the play by Craig Taylor as he gets close to midfield.
Once again, we can't overemphasize the fact that the Maryland defense has played a lot, particularly since the end of the first period, now throughout the second period. They've got to get a break here. They've got to force something. They can't afford to let West Virginia control the line of scrimmage as they have.
Clock moving, 9:10 left in the second quarter. Fullback gets the call this time. That's Craig Taylor. And Taylor up over the 45-yard line down to the 44.
Again, you can't say enough. Excuse me. You can't say enough about that offensive line. And Koken and Stroya, the left guard, and Kovac, the right guard, opening up the middle. As we look at O'Donnell, Neil O'Donnell, the junior quarterback, number 14.
Going to warm up on the sidelines. He hasn't had too many reps out there, as they say. West Virginia 5 out of 7 on 3rd down. They've got a 3rd and short coming, and here's Harris to keep. And Harris gets it down to the 40-yard line, picks up 4.
So
in on the stop is going to be Brown and Sidnor.
Just glides. Great athlete. Just came down, running the option back in to the sideline, into the boundary, keeps the ball, falls forward. He's 6'1", 215 pounds. He can do it all. And as a sophomore, he sure has a lot of national attention.
West Virginia in First downs leading that category by 10. They lead on the scoreboard by 3. And they're looking at first down at the Maryland 39. Harris gives to Brown, and Brown inside the 40 where the yardage is pretty tough, and Warren Powers fights off a block to get the tackle.
Excellent play by Warren Powers, the senior out of Baltimore. He's a big one, 6'6", 277. Number 90, he fought off that block, made a good hit, and kept it to no gain.
You saw Brown there a moment ago, the leading rusher from a season ago at 970 yards. Don Nealon and his staff have a different outlook of this game now that they're up 17-14. Double tight end set now for West Virginia on second down. Pitch out of the eye. Here comes Brown. Not much there. Got slowed down. The ball pops loose, but I believe it's going to be blown dead.
They blew it dead, but that time again, anticipating him going wide, either with the option of the pitch, Maryland came up on the corner, and watch the pressure you see as he pitches the ball here back to Brown. Look at the pressure right there. You've got it from Edwards, the cornerback, number 11, and Smith filling the hole. Big question whether he was down. They ruled him down, but it's still in possession of West Virginia, and Major Harris is looking at 3rd and 11.
7:07 left to go in the first half. The Mountaineers by a field goal, and they have a key third down looking at them. Lots of motion ahead of time. Flags are thrown into it. Looks like Keith Wynn might have moved a little early.
Okay, looking at this again. Is it a fumble or is he down? Here's the
Dead
hit.
ball.
It's close.
Illegal procedure on the offense. 3rd down.
His right knee might have hit, but it's a close call.
Yep. Maryland might have a...
If you're in red, you get a gripe.
Yep, you got reason to look at that.
Okay, penalty, pushing him back. Couple of mistakes here in this drive. Good defensive effort by Maryland, especially up front, putting pressure on the football now.
3rd and 16. 2 wide outs to the top side, and Harris dropping back to pass. He's in the pocket, scrambles out. This is where he's really dangerous. Got the first down and steps out sprightly at the 28.
You know, this guy, number 9, had a hip pointer last week against Cal Fullerton, but it doesn't look like he's hurt here. Watch the balance here. He decides to run. There's a missed tackle by Powers. He just runs away from the linebacker, Saylor, and just the cornerback comes up too short. That's why people are looking at him as one of the top quarterbacks in the country, and there's no question about it.
18-yard gain for Major Harris at the 28, first down in Maryland territory. Here's Brown. Brown breaking tackles and gets down to the 21. Fleece on the stop also helping out as they get up. Chad Sidnor. The defensive backs have made a lot of tackles this afternoon for Maryland.
I want to tell you, Joe Krivak called this rivalry a backyard rivalry. I think it's a backyard brawl, especially up front where that offensive and defensive line are really going after each other.
Second down coming up in about 3. At the 21, Harris gives to Taylor, the fullback, and Taylor trying to jump into the hole there. Gets into the arms of Matt D'Amico. Inside the 20, he's going to be close to it.
Good balance. The other thing about this club that's so impressive, the ability to substitute in the backfield, at fullback, at tailback, at the receiver core. And everybody that comes in has a particular talent. They've got size, got speed, and most of all, they've got experience.
3rd and short, a yard. West Virginia 17-14, looking for the first down. Harris on the toss. This is Brown. Can he turn the corner? No, Folks is there. And a loss on the play of 2 back to the 21-yard line.
What a great effort by the defensive tackle Warren Powers, the cornerback Brown. They came up and made the play along with Folks, the strong safety, but the big guy Powers, who's being blocked, he was double teamed last week. He comes off the block of 68 Phillips there, and watch him run down his tailback with the help of his cornerback or his strong safety Folks. That's a great effort by those 3 players.
Charlie Bauman into kick. This will be a 38-yard attempt. From the left hash, it's blocked. Goes out of bounds. It's blocked at the 28-yard line. Evan Edwards is the man they say is the man who hit it.
Great effort by the Maryland defense. They could have folded here, but they hung on and they made the play.
Here's Bauman's kick. There's Edwards. He made the stop. So Ball goes back to Maryland as they dodged that one with 4:53 left to go in the first half. West Virginia by 3. West Virginia leading Maryland 17-14, and as the Mountaineers are trying to tack 3 more on the board, well, Mr. Edwards, Carl Edwards, would have nothing doing on that one. He blocks Charlie Bowman's kick. That's his first miss at a field goal thus far this season, and Maryland's got the football back at their own 28. There you see Neil O'Donnell in command. Lowry and Beasley in back of him. This will be Beasley trying to get outside, gets away from one man. Orlando tries to track him down, and he's joined by Alvoid Mays. Gain of about 4, maybe 6 yards on the play. Poor Orlando getting the bulk of that tackle.
But a great effort by Beasley, the sophomore. That was strictly his speed that made that play go. He got on the corner, and he just outran people because they weren't all blocked. But he came up with good yardage, and that's what Neil O'Donnell needs. He's got to put some first downs together.
There's the turnovers, and what's happened, Maryland has fumbled. Had an interception, and they've only paid for it with a field goal. Hand off straight ahead. Close to the first down over the 35-yard line. Lowry, the fullback, moving with the football and ran right into the teeth of the West Virginia defensive line. Parker, Summits, and Fox, along with Chris Herring.
The Maryland backs all run with the football. Block. Lowry is a good blocker from the fullback position. Exceptional receiver, too. And we're looking in this game eventually when he throws the ball to come to his backs once in a while. They all can catch and they all can run in the open field.
Gain of 3, third and less than a yard. Here's Lowry. He's got the first down over the 40-yard line. And he's brought down by Darrell Whitmore back into the contest here for West Virginia.
Excellent block by Blaine Rose, the tight end who comes in on double tights, short situations. He made the block in the corner to give Lowry a chance to make the first down.
And that's the third down conversion we've had in a while here for Maryland. First on the last 4 possessions, we haven't had a first down conversion for the Terrapins. Chuck Gardner says, our statistician. On the 41-yard line, O'Donnell on the pitch. This is Johnson. Or rather, that is Lowry again. He's over the 50-yard line, and he's close to another first down.
He's a fine back, Bren Lowry, at 5'10", 182, the ability to run inside, to block inside as a fullback, and there to get on the corner. Little toss to him to the split end side. He's quick enough to make a play out of it. Good yardage.
Alvoid Mays and Bo Orlando in on the stop. It's going to be 9 yards on the carry, brings up second and less than a foot.
Lowry had over 500 yards last year rushing, leading rusher on the Maryland team.
This could be a free down here. Joins to the top of your screen on 2nd and 1. O'Donnell goes to the deep handoff, and he is stopped. That looks like Turnbull, the man who got in on the stop. Ronaldo Turnbull really leveled a hit on Mike Beasley.
They just bring him in up on the line of scrimmage, the outside linebacker, and he just cuts down through and gets to Beasley before he ever has a chance to make the cut. Watch at the top of the screen. There he is. There's Beasley trying to get up inside, get the first down. Turnbull, 6'5", 234, going against Beasley, 5'10", 184.
You know who's going to win that battle. Third down. A yard and a half now. Maryland trailing by a field goal. O'Donnell back to throw. Goes up to his back. Beasley complete. At the 20. Lots of running room inside the 20, down to the 10. And Darren Fulton in on a stop.
What a great call. They came out in 3rd and short and threw the football. They released the back out of the backfield, up the sideline. The linebacker's got to cover and watch this play. Little fake to the fullback. The tailback has released to the right side. He's getting upfield. There he is, Beasley in the open field. Beautiful call by the Maryland offense, and they got a big play here. They not only got a first down, they got the ball inside the 10-yard line, and they're back with a scoring threat.
43-yard gain by Beasley as they caught Edwards on a blitz. 1st and goal. O'Donnell, play action, rolling to the top, has Joins open, no, overthrew it. Alvoid Mays, who's already picked the pass off, looked as if he got in the way and blocked the vision of Joins on the play.
Joins was deep. He had him open a little late here by O'Donnell looking to make the play. Little play fake to Beasley, the tailback. He comes to his left. He's got to get the ball right now. He waits a little long, gives Mays a chance to get back and get a hand up in front of it and get a part of that football. Great effort by Alvoid Mays. the senior cornerback.
He's had a strong game. 2nd and goal. He's deflected a pass and intercepted one. O'Donnell on the option. Calls his own number. Gets inside the 10 to about the 7-yard line. Not much there. And it's going to be Darrell Whitmore in on the stop with Chris Parker.
Shows the ability, too, of Neil O'Donnell. He can run the football. He can sprint. That time he tried to run the option and looking to pitch the ball. It was well covered by the cornerback, Mays, again, so he decided to keep it up inside, pick up a couple of yards, but it's 3rd and 7.
West Virginia 17, Maryland 14. And the Terrapins face 3rd and goal at the 7-yard line. Joins to the bottom, just out of his screen. Here's O'Donnell on the quarterback draw. Touchdown! Neil O'Donnell scores his 2nd touchdown of the season for the Maryland Terrapins, and they take the lead by a score of 20-17 with 49 seconds left to go in the first half.
What a great call again. I tell you, to run a quarterback draw with the ball on the 7-yard line, executed perfectly by O'Donnell, but more importantly, got great blocks up front.
Here's Plocky's kick. It is good. And that's how we stand with 49 seconds left to go in the first half of play. Maryland moves back out in front. Let's look at O'Donnell once again.
There's the block up front by Agent. See him steer the nose guard. 99, and that gives O'Donnell a chance to run either way as the linebackers flew out of there thinking pass on 3rd and 7.
So Maryland is back out in front. 21-17 leading the West Virginia University Mountaineers. Great American football continues. Welcome back to Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia. Maryland now steps back out in front of West Virginia, our 3rd lead change so far this afternoon. And the Mountaineers getting set to receive the kick of Dan Plocky. Plocky's kick, as Fulton looks at it, deep it is 1. They'll get to return this one to the 20 and no more. Matter of fact, a yard shy of the 20-yard line, and they're in on the stop. It's going to be for Maryland.
Let's look at this touchdown again. Watch this quarterback. He takes a 3-step drop, gets a great block from his center agent, his 2 guards, Rugg and Nelson, and that's what happens when you're 6'3" and you can stretch yourself out and make the touchdown. A great effort by the entire offensive line and, of course, the quarterback O'Donnell to put them back in this ball game, and they're ahead now 21-17.
Spotted nicely to the blocked field goal, 4:04. Took him to score, and this is Calvin Phillips with his first reception of the day. Steps out of bounds, very close to the first down at the 30-yard line.
You know, you're not surprised by the fact that West Virginia's moved the ball and scored 17 points because they've averaged a lot this year. But more importantly, the fact that Maryland has been able to get into the end zone and score 21 points. Sure, they got some breaks to get there, but they've moved the ball and gotten the points, and I think that's the big surprise thus far in this first half.
It would have been very easy for them after West Virginia scored 17 unanswered points to get a little despondent about themselves, but they didn't. 1st and 10. A blocked field goal, of course, helping out. Harris has all day to throw. Complete to Lamont at the 47-yard line. Jamie Lamont with a reception.
Jamie Lamont, the senior out of Washington, Pennsylvania, 5'9", 166 pounds. He's going to run an in pattern from the top of the screen. And look at the time that the quarterback, Harris, has to wait for him to come over behind the linebackers in front of the free safety and make the hit. That shows you, again, the versatility of Major Harris, the threat of him running the football, people hanging there a little bit longer.
West Virginia calls time. They've got 2 remaining here. Harris has hit his last 4 passes, that last one for 23 yards. And then, of course, to Jamie Lamont. And don't forget, coming up at halftime, we'll have the Rolling Rock Review, a look at last week's action in Great American Independent Football. We hope you'll stay tuned. We've got a pretty good halftime staying put here for you. Let's take a look at ground level of that last pass.
Just before a half, Maryland sort of in a prevent look. They've got a lot of defense. They've got a nickel back in the game, and he's just waiting for Lamont to come across. But look at that throw with authority, right on the money. Perfectly run pattern by Lamont. Beautifully thrown pass by Major Harris.
You've got to be big to look over those guys to see Lamont in the backfield. 33 seconds remaining in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Mountaineers. They're in Maryland territory at the 48.
Powerful offense. 16 first downs in this first half, the 5 for Maryland. Coming into this ball game, they've been averaging over 309 yards a game in 2 games.
Harris realigns Keith Wynn. And it's the draw. It's going to be to Brown at the 40. the 35 and down to the 34-yard line.
He didn't get out of bounds, though, and the clock keeps running. They ran a little draw play. Good call. Maryland playing with 3 defensive linemen, defending with 8.
Hollis on the stop. West Virginia goes without a huddle. Clock stops, though, to move the chain. Now it starts. Here comes Harris. Harris looking for it all. Wants the end zone. It is complete to Phillips at the 5-yard line. Clock stops with 12 seconds left.
The defensive back slipped and fell and gave Phillips a chance to be all alone. And that was Kevin Folks, the strong safety. When he slipped down, Phillips gets a chance. Look at him fall on about the 7-yard line. He slips. Phillips on the 10 catches the ball. Folks gets up and makes the hit. And now, with 12 seconds left, very interesting call because they're close enough to get the score, but time is against them whether they have enough time to make the play and still have to go for 3. So they've got to work the clock perfectly. They still have 1 timeout remaining.
With 12 seconds remaining, they're at the 3-yard line. Bauman is 1 for 2 in field goals this afternoon. Let's take a look at the pass again.
Look at his throw. He went for it all because he had time to go for it. And there's the strong safety on the ground, getting up as Phillips makes the catch. Came up to make the hit and save a touchdown. Big play.
Phillips' second reception this afternoon. He averages big plays all the time. 35-6 coming in. Brown and Johnson into the ball game.
Wishbone.
It's out of the wishbone here for Harris, or at least it's showing that as they show a power formation. Slight delay as they spot the ball. Taylor is the up back. Brown and Johnson behind Harris.
Bootleg.
Here's a bootleg by Harris. Touchdown. Harris calls his own number. On a sweep as Bauman in for the kick. It is good. West Virginia 24, Maryland 21.
They're in a wishbone formation. He just runs the bootleg off of it. Number 27 out of position. The cornerback coming up. Nobody near him. That's the ability of Major Harris to run the football and to throw the football. We saw it all. That was Michael Hollins, the defensive back who never found him.
Second touchdown of the year for Major Harris. It caps an 80-yard march in 5 plays, and it took him only 41 seconds. A couple of timely passes. The big one to Phillips to take them inside the 3-yard line and set them up on that big play. 8 seconds left to go. 24-21 West Virginia. What more could you ask for in this first half?
Joe Krivak was a downer for him. They were going to go in at halftime up, coming back with a score, and then they gave up that touchdown. A couple of bad breaks, but it tells you about West Virginia's ability to capitalize on breaks and the ability of Major Harris to throw the football, throw it short, throw it deep, and of course run. What a talent.
So the crowd heads for wherever they're going to go at halftime, confident that West Virginia's kickoff team will hold here. But what a first half we've seen. We're looking at 45 points on the scoreboard. We saw 2 touchdowns in the first 5 minutes of play for Maryland, and we've seen it go back and forth ever since. West Virginia back out in front by 3. Bauman for the kick, keeps it on the ground. It's hit once, still loose, and Maryland downs it at the 12-yard line. 3 seconds left on the clock. They'll get a chance for one more play. Downing the ball for Maryland, Doug Stump. So Mr. O'Donnell brings the Terrapin offense back out onto the football field with not much in the way of opportunity looking at him. 3 seconds on the clock. 12-yard line, the line of scrimmage. There you see the time remaining again. A gray day at Mountaineer Field, but the 63,000 plus have enjoyed it. Everybody's in close. O'Donnell will kneel on it, and the first half will end. But what a first half of action as Joe Krivak leads the Maryland Terrapins to the locker room. As West Virginia steps out in front of Maryland by a score of 24-21. There's Don Nealon. Mountaineers headed in. Boy, their luck looked real bad in the first 5 minutes of play with the 2 touchdowns by Maryland.
But too much experience. They've been around too long, and this is the kind of team that you know can come back. It just took a matter of time. But this is a close game, and Maryland's offense came alive there, so that we should have a great second half. West Virginia leading 24-21.
Mike Beasley, of course, has had 2 touchdowns, 98 yards running so far in the first half, but been very quiet in the second period of play, as it's been all West Virginia in the second quarter with the exception of that drive. We've got a great halftime lined up for you, so stay with us. It is West Virginia 24, Maryland 21. This is Great American Independent Football. Welcome back to Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia, where the West Virginia Mountaineers have stepped out in front of the Maryland Terrapins. Our score here at halftime shows West Virginia leading by a score of 24-21. And what a first half of action we've seen. And we've got quite a bit waiting for you here at halftime. Of course, each week during our Great American Independent Football season, we take a look at what we call the Genesee Cream Ale Great American Champions. These are players who are outstanding players, either recognized for their athletic or academic ability or for something unique that they contribute to their football team. And West Virginia, as we've talked about, has a veteran offensive line, and nothing could be more timely to meet the big men up front for the West Virginia Mountaineers, our Cream Ale champions. Genesee Cream Ale presents Great American Champions. This is the offensive line of the West Virginia Mountaineers. Number 55, guard Bob Kovac. Number 68, all-East tackle Rick Phillips. Number 75, guard and captain John Stroya. And number 57, center and co-captain Kevin Koken. These men will be together for their 5th year this season, and they've enjoyed great success due mainly to their friendship and dedication.
We all kind of rely on each other for not only, it's not an individual thing on the offensive line, it's a whole offensive line coming together and doing the job as a unit.
Last year, these men underwent an intensive weight conditioning program under Coach Don Nealon, and the improvement in quickness and strength is obvious.
Coach Nealon wanted us to be extra quick this year and come in being fast and lean, and everybody on the line has done that. They've done a real good job off season.
The key to our offensive line is their strength program in the winter. All of them bench press 400 or above. They understand what it takes to win, and we like them. As a group, our offensive line communicates well together. They've played together. I'll be very disappointed if they're not one of the better groups in the country.
After each game, the offensive line coaches grade each line member on their overall performance. Each of these men has a grade of 80% or better in 9 or more games, making them members of the elite Mountaineer Club. When West Virginia scores, the fans hear and read about who scored, not about the key blocks on the way to the end zone. Or when the quarterback throws a great pass, we speak of the pass or the receiver instead of the protection that enabled the quarterback to make the play. Number 9, Major Harris, has been described as one of West Virginia's best quarterback talents ever and an all-round offensive threat. Harris was asked what he considers to be the key to his success.
I think the offensive line and the receivers diving after the ball, making catches, stuff like that. I feel anybody can get in there and get the job done with the offensive line we have.
Well, I think the key to our success has been that togetherness that we've developed through the 5 years that we've been here together. It's a lot easier to play beside someone when you know them real well, because you know how he's going to react because you've been playing beside him for 5 years, and you can adjust yourself properly.
And, of course, Brian Smider joins that group. Smider was hobbled by a preseason injury, but he's 6'4", 297, occupies that right tackle position, the 5th-year senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, also an integral part of that West Virginia offensive line. West Virginia leading here at halftime by a score of 24-21. Stay with us. Highlights from last week's Great American Independent Football action follows. We'll be back after this word from your local stations. Well, welcome back to Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia. Our score this week is West Virginia 24, Maryland 21. We're at halftime. Steve Martin here along with Bob Cacciola. You know, Bob, you look at Rutgers' win over Michigan State last week, and I was listening to some people who were very close to the Rutgers program after the game debating whether or not that was the biggest win ever in Rutgers football history. What's your opinion?
Well, my personal opinion is that it was the biggest win, and they've had some great wins. But that was a big one because they went out and played a Big Ten team. They opened with them away from home, Rose Bowl champions. It meant a lot to them, their program, and particularly to the pride in the state of New Jersey, which they're really building.
Of course, that was one of the many ball games that involved Great American Independence a week ago. There were some upsets and a pretty good week for our Independents. Let's take a look at that Michigan State-Rutgers game, among others, here at halftime. Scores from around our Great American Independent Circuit last week. Of course, Ohio State ending the longest unbeaten streak in the country of Syracuse at 14, 26-9 the final there. Long start for the season for Temple. They ran into Alabama's buzzsaw there, Bob, last Saturday. Had a rough time. Of course, West Virginia beating Cal State Fullerton, and a nice start for Navy.
Navy with 2 victories. The second one there, Navy over Delaware, 30-3.
And, of course, today, an active day, a busy college football Saturday. First ever meeting for Army and Washington.
Boston College, of course, travels to Penn State to meet the Nittany Lions, and Temple takes on Navy, undefeated Navy.
And, of course, we've had a score earlier from that Notre Dame-Michigan State game. Michigan State was up by a field goal in the first quarter. Tonight, Ohio State and Pittsburgh, and Rutgers is back in action tonight again, playing Vanderbilt, of course, in that contest. Our game right now shows West Virginia leading Maryland here at halftime. Great American Independent Football 24-21. We'll be back with more right after this.
Great American Independent Football. West Virginia meets Pittsburgh for the 81st edition of the Backyard Brawl. Since 1984, Pitt has won every meeting against West Virginia. Last year, the struggle went down to the final 3 minutes. West Virginia is out for revenge. Could this be the year of the Mountaineers? Great American Independent Football. West Virginia versus Pittsburgh.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Field. Steve Martin here along with Bob Cassiola. We're at halftime, and it's West Virginia leading by a score of 24-21 over the Maryland Terrapins. It's been a great first half. It got out of the blocks much like last year's with the opposite result.
Opposite result, Maryland getting on top by 2 touchdowns, taking advantage of turnovers by West Virginia and moving the football on the ground. But West Virginia is experienced, and they're confident, and they came back strong.
Let's take a look at the first half stats so far here in the ballgame. I think you'll see some pretty impressive numbers up there. Right now, the total yardage for each team, West Virginia rushing yards, 221, 319 total yards, and that time of possession's a big number. But look at Maryland's total yards. That's nothing to sneeze at in the first half.
194 yards. I think everybody's surprised by the fact that they have moved the ball at times, particularly in that last drive that got them a touchdown when they went in for a score to make it 21.
4 turnovers. 2 for each team. West Virginia's fumble resulted in a Maryland touchdown, and Maryland had a fumble that resulted in a West Virginia field goal. An interception by West Virginia and another fumble by Maryland were negated by pretty good offensive play and defensive play on the other side. But there are some great plays to talk about here in the first half. You look at Maryland capitalizing on one of those turnovers, and Mike Beasley had himself one heck of a first quarter.
Beasley is a great back. He's got great speed, and they got him into the line of scrimmage, got him on the corner, gave him a chance to run with the football, as we see him here, just running off a little option into the sideline. Good block downfield on the cornerback, and with his speed, he knows how to find the end zone.
This is a 3rd and 10 play for Maryland on this situation where he will go 74 yards. At that point, Mike Beasley picked up 96 yards rushing thus far in the first half.
And here's Major Harris coming off a play fake and finding Wynn, number 81, in the end zone. He just takes the ball away from the strong safety Folks right there, and that's what the athletic ability of Keith Wynn meant to him and got him back in this ballgame. That should have been an interception.
And instead, it tied the ballgame at 14 apiece. And we talked at the outset, Bob. We set up the situation where Major Harris, outstanding quarterback, he makes West Virginia go. And Neil O'Donnell has had a strong first half as well.
Well, Neil O'Donnell, as we said earlier, is experienced. He comes into this season having games under his belt as a starter. And he proved it when he brought this team down the field in the second period. They were trailing at that time, and he brought them right down the field. And on a very crucial 4th down situation, they ran a quarterback draw play. 3 steps. He waits for the blocking to form, and it shows his ability as he stretches his 6'3" frame into the end zone for the score. Very important score at that juncture.
Time running out on West Virginia. Major Harris has a 1st and goal. He's inside the 3. He has everybody in there tight, but he escapes on a naked sweep.
That's the ability to come out in various formations when you got a quarterback and do so many things. And then what happened was Major Harris came out in the wishbone. You think he's going to option. He ran a bootleg, and he was clean in the corner for the score. Big play just before the half. Great momentum going back to West Virginia.
And it has swung both ways. Maryland got such a lift out of those first 2 touchdowns. West Virginia with 17 unanswered points to come back. If you're Maryland, you're thinking maybe this isn't our day. But Neil O'Donnell, of course, driving them back, and then, of course, the Major Harris touchdown.
I think whenever you have quarterbacks of this talent, it's always going to be that you feel you're in the ball game. And I'm sure Joe Krivak's in there telling his Maryland squad, hey, look it, we came in here as a decided underdog. We're only 3 points down.
And we've got more to come here at halftime. We'll take a look at what else is happening around the world of college football, so we hope you'll stay with us. Right now at Mountaineer Field, it's West Virginia 24, Maryland 21. We'll be back after this word from your local station.